Good morning, everybody. We'd like to welcome you to the Real Talk with New Order show. I am your Vice President of New Order, Mr. Leonard Jones. I'm so glad to have as my guest today our brand new national spokesperson, Ms. Joyce Rogers, sitting in with us today. That's always a blessing. Peace and blessings to our CEO and founder of New Order National Human Rights Organization, Mr. Gerald Rose. And we're so excited to be still functioning as an organization and being able to provide support to our community, standing up and supporting one another through hard times and trials and celebrations and you name it. It's just great being a part of the New Order family. Shout out to our outstanding staff, our chief of staff, Mr. John Drummond, that keeps things moving. He's our guy that you usually reach his folks when you give us a call at our number at 1-800-346-5138. We're here for you to serve you in various capacities. If you have issues, news, ideas, and things that you are interested in, and you want to be a part of New Order, definitely reach out to us at 1-800-346-5138. You can also go to our website at www.nonhro.org to find out what we're about, what we're doing at the community, current events, and what have you. And man, we owe all of this to so many people who play a part of New Order that are completely volunteers, folks passionate about being a part of the change needed in all our communities. We've been watching the news, y'all. We know we're not where we come a long way, but we're not where we need to be. We got to keep pushing and keep fighting. We know that the fight always continues because they still killing us and getting less than 2 years, Joyce, in prison. But we gonna deal with that.
I know.
And we're going to deal with
Yes.
that each and
Yeah.
every day, taking advantage of every opportunity through standing in support, education, forums, workshops, network, and partnering with other great organizations, definitely in and around the United States. Shout out to those New Order chapters throughout the United States that are trying to make a
Yeah.
positive impact on their communities as well. And we hope to be able to lead and guide you and provide you with resources and information that you can use. And definitely, I'm gonna get to you, Ms. Joyce. Definitely, when we started talking about that experience yesterday, shout out to the Youth and Outreach Department for doing a phenomenal job with our first youth meeting at the Apex Museum. That's an awesome partnership we have with them and Mr. Director, Mr. Darren
Yes.
Hammond. And we were so graced by the elder, the owner of that museum, and just to talk with him and thank him for even seeing a need to
Yeah.
make sure that we have that opportunity to look at us before slavery and the
Yeah.
rich history and things that have gone on and where we are today and how we need to keep going. Shout out to the new youth and outreach director, Brother Jovan Thomas, and
Yeah.
shout out to everybody. But let's get back to some of the things that we need to address. Do some little, some little what they call upkeep, and get back into some different business that we have going on. We would like to thank Ms. Sherry Johnson, who's going to be representing New Order in Charleston, Missouri at a community meeting this evening. That's what it takes, people. She's all the way in Missouri, but Miss Johnson, who's a part of New Order, is going to be sitting in on that community meeting to give us that information, to let us know what's going on her side of the United States and how she's being a part of the change she wants to see happen. Also, New Order will be standing for our brother, Mr. Peace Justice, who does have his hearing in the morning at 9 a.m. at the Cobb County Courthouse right here in Georgia. That'll be in front of Judge Brown. So we'll be praying for Brother Peace Justice as well. Big shout out to Mika Meek for all she does, providing us with those
Yeah.
updates on peace justice and what's going on in youth and outreach department. Man, I know these cats are going to be on it, and I look forward to working with them even more and more with our youth. Also, we like to welcome Miss, I hope I get the name right, Miss Dawn Arguella, Dawn Arguella. That's right. Okay. She's going to be working in our research department. So big shout out to her and joining with us. We had some new members come in after meeting with us yesterday at the event. So shout out to those celebrity DJ Unique, as well as his art as the artist Poetic, who showed up to speak to the kids about being positive in their history. And always we were able to talk to them about stopping the violence and things of that nature going on in the
Mm.
community and what their responsibilities are as young people today, how they carry on the legacy. So, Miss Joyce, thank you for being a part of the show today. Just let us know your thoughts on that event that we had yesterday at the Apex Museum. We still got
Thank
you there, Miss
you.
Joyce? There we go.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, thank you. Okay, great. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be here. Yesterday's event was fabulous. It's always amazing to begin to bring together young people and old alike on the subject of finding out who we were before slavery, and then understanding that slavery was something that happened and it is penetrating us to today.
Right. And the more and more we get involved with these types of things, we want you to reach out in your area as well. We're celebrating Black History Month right now, and it was just great to be able to do that in this month to begin this program. Now, we're going to be doing this every third Saturday of the month between 1 and 3 o'clock p.m. So if you have young people, definitely contact us 1-800-346-5138. The Apex Museum is located right down here in Atlanta, Georgia. And this museum has been in operation for quite some time. I remember going there about 10 years ago, and it was so glad to be with this organization, to be a part of this program.
Mhm.
We want to shout out to our youth and
Yeah,
outreach department and the people who got together to make that event happen. Like I said, we had uh, different folks come out, speak to the youth. Shout out to our newest member, Mr. Dijon Talks. I mean, this brother is part of our prison reform that we will be
mm.
partnering with
Very
this young
powerful
man
brother.
who is a very awesome motivational speaker that speaks to
Oh
our
yeah.
incarcerated brothers to let them know that they still have value and to
Yes.
educate them on this system, as well as the brother breaks the statistics down as it relates to the cost of incarceration versus the cost
Yes.
to educate and empower and employ.
Yes.
And so I'm just looking forward to creating programs with him as well to work with our incarcerated community. And
Yes.
maybe we
It's
can do
I was
something.
very impressed with him.
Yes. And he spoke very passionately about explaining to the community, because you're the taxpayers that pay this bill to keep us incarcerated at what I believe he said almost $60,000 per year per inmate. So he broke it down to make so much sense to say, why would I educate you if prison is a business and I'm in the business of incarcerating you?
Come on.
Does it help my business to educate you to stay out
That's right.
that system? Think about it.
Come on.
It's a
Come on.
trap.
That's right.
And we don't want our young people
Yes.
to constantly be caught up in this trap. And we want you people who are
Absolutely.
financing it to understand how it works. So thank you, brother Deshaun. And we look forward to working out you. We definitely want you to come on the show. We know you were already on Real Talk
Uh,
last week on Power 108.9 with Jero Rose and my brother Noki, talking about what you want to do with New Order and how we can partner with you to continue the great work that he's been doing. So shout out to him as well for what he's
yeah.
doing. Our motto is it's not I but we, because it
Yes.
takes so many of us to
Yes,
get
it
it
does.
done. Whether me, I'm
Absolutely.
50 years old, so pretty soon, you may not want to say certain things, but hey, I'm getting older. What am I doing to teach the young people? This is a fight that
Right.
they will have to continue.
Yes.
What do you think, Ms. Joyce?
Yeah.
What do we
That,
need to do to empower young people to pass the torch to them next?
yes. That's my wake up call as well. I realize that I am not getting any younger. I also recognize that I have not done my part to impact the younger people with the knowledge that I have been graced with. So I am excited as well to be a part of New Order and to be able to touch the young people. What we have to do is make an active, collective move of reaching forward to the younger people and to begin to educate them on who they are. That's why the Apex partnership is so crucial because, as you already know, for New Order, we go off facts, not emotions.
That's right.
Apex Museum has the information that the young people need to know who their people were before slavery, how and why slavery happened, and who they were and who they became after that process. It's vitally important because as I am watching and observing what's happening in our community, I am clear that the self hate that we're perpetrating on one another by weapons and crimes against each other is a direct impact, a direct result of the lack of knowledge, that lack of a foundation for who they are as individuals and who we are collectively.
And that is so important because there were a lot of things, and you could see the young people and even the adults
Uh-huh.
as well learning new things about this journey that they did not know.
Yes.
And so all of us would benefit. If you have not been to the Apex Museum, please make sure you schedule some time. And if you can't do it by the end of this month, guess what? They're still going to be open. New Order is going to be with them every third Saturday. So if you got a group of kids that would benefit from this experience, definitely reach out to us. Shout out to Miss Diamond, Michelle, and all those folks that brought this to us to be there to bring the celebrities to have them come in and speak hope and life to those young people. If you could see their eyes light up when they were learning these things,
Yes.
as hard as it may be, and even the how Mr. Hammond, the director, taught and lectured on the various uh, points in the passage, and how parents were ripped away from their children and sold like cattle, even
Yes.
to see the artifacts that were part of
Yes.
that period, like the roles of the individuals to be sold for and auctioned off, and how
Yes.
human beings were treated just like cattle. And that museum takes you from the beginning of civilization all the way
Yeah.
up into the
Exactly.
great men and women today that are still making strides and continually making Black history, which is a part of world history.
Yes.
And we like to think also support the Apex Museum because our partnership with them is so important that we want you to log in, go to their website at the Apex Museum, find out their mission, what they're about, and then do
Yes.
go a step further and donate to the museum to keep it alive, to
Yes.
keep it going. to make it larger and greater and reach more people. He announced to us yesterday that they even have a television channel for the Apex Museum where you can log
yeah.
on and follow an actual television network dedicated to African American history and to understand your two people,
That's going
the
to be
descendants
powerful.
of Africans that was stolen and enslaved in America. And now you're here. And now we want you to be just as great as all of your ancestors and those people before you, those people you see striving and achieving every day. Uh, Shout out and best wishes to our former vice president, the Coca Diva herself, Miss Shauna Swearington. And we just want to wish her best and building this department of youth and outreach to what it is today. We wish her
I
much success and her
agree
continued
with
activism in another place in the world. Miss Joyce, you were trying to say something?
they educated about the name, even the name of, even in how Africa's landmass was prior to the colonization when they divided it all up to borders. That was an important point to be able to share with the people that it was once a whole pie. It was not divided into pieces.
Right. And if anybody wants to join in on the conversation today, definitely feel free to give us a call. We are definitely looking forward to hearing from you. Give us a call at 508-924-3521. And we don't want to go another step further without thanking DKM Radio for giving us this
Yeah,
Real Talk platform every third Monday of the month between 11 and 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get used to seeing me or Miss Joyce or both of us. As
yes,
much as she can come, she's welcome as our spokesperson for our organization because we want to make sure that our mission and objectives and values are at the forefront. If you need some
yeah,
help with something, man, give us a call 1-800-346-5138. We go on facts, not emotions. So please
yes,
understand, we want you to follow our intake procedures. And if we can help you or refer you to someone who can help you, we
yes,
will do that for you. And that takes dedicated
absolutely.
staff and volunteers. Definitely go
Yes,
to our webpage, www.nonhro.org. We definitely always need donations, and we need to know what's going on where you live. If you want to start a chapter of New Order, reach out to us so we can help you do that, address the issues in your
yes,
community. Starting
yes.
with addressing those things in our community, do you have anything else you want to say about the Apex Museum? I want to say shout out to Brother Poetic for giving us a little
Yes,
sample of his talent and what he does. And
yes,
he made a statement that I told him I was gonna steal. So thank you, Brother Poetic. And he says there's no such thing as a clean version of a dirty song. Now I want y'all to remember that
yes,
because I'm not gonna do it
for
this
real,
show,
for
but I
real.
want to do a whole show on that alone
Yes.
and bring on some young artists who have
Mm,
committed themselves to not perpetuating some of the behavior and
yeah,
things in popular culture today. We know we have
yeah.
issues with some people have issues with the N word, but it goes further than
Mm.
that. That's
Yes,
just a
it does.
word.
Come on.
But we're going to have to address some issues as it relates to what our children are being fed
Yes.
and what has been the
Yes.
outcome in our communities. I think that's a very powerful statement that brother made.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And having worked
Absolutely.
as it relates to freedom of speech and censorship, for instance, look at what we have the ability to do today. We can go on and do all these radio shows and things like that. but should there be a level of accountability?
Absolutely.
Is what we
Absolutely,
say.
Bishop. That's right.
Should we really understand the link between some of these behaviors and what people are consuming? So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna put that in the back of your head, Miss Joyce. So we gonna have to
Absolutely.
we gonna have to
Yes.
revisit
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
in coming up
Yeah.
with programs for the community to educate and enlighten one another. And so
I agree.
that's very important. Anything else about Apex Museum from you, Miss Joyce?
Yes, for those of us in the community who have not been there, definitely make it a point to go. Yesterday was my first time there. Also, what I would like to share with the listening audience concerning it is the Apex Museum is a safe and comfortable way to get introduced to the history because there is so much harsh reality about our past. It's scary, it's bloody, it's deadly, it's all those negative things. And so, while for me myself, I thought I was going to have to carry my own personal box of tissue because I know our history. And so I was thinking that it was going to be that graphic, I thought I was going to
Yes.
really feel that but I want to say to the listening audience that it's not that harsh of a reality, but it is a necessary reality check because until we recognize who we are, we will never take our rightful position in this society, in the world as a whole. And the world is waiting on us because remember, we have a history. There's already been a history of governance before us, and that has brought us to where we are now. And it has not been good for us. Every concerning the USA, all of those leaders have been white males. And as we can see, everything that they've instituted has been against the black man, woman, and child. And that is only possible because we have yet to really collectively, in abundance, taken our rightful place at the table where we could represent ourselves. And we must do that with the real knowledge of who we are so that we can be a part of making sure that when issues come to the table that affects us negative, we can stand up and say absolutely not. We can stand up and assure that it will not take place. You don't see the Jews suffering from things that's written against them because they're represented in every arena. They're not just represented, they're represented with full knowledge of who they are. That's the power base to any nationality of people is knowing who you are. And I want to say to the listening audience, the black man, woman, and child is a great, great people who have much to offer. And we are so needed at the table. So take the time to go to the Apex Museum and allow the tour guides to explain to you the things that have transpired from our royalty in the beginning to our fall, back to our getting back up.
Thank you so much, Miss Joyce. And if you want to, you can go ahead and stick around. We're gonna open up the phone lines about 11:30 in a couple of minutes here. Well, just once again, shout out to Miss Diamond, Miss Tucker, and Mr. Thomas. Y'all did an excellent job with getting those people
Yes,
out. And I know it's going.
yes,
We had a very good turnout. And
yes,
I
we
in
did.
like one, I think that they were surprised, and that's due to the
Yeah,
promotion of this event. Thank you to the
absolutely.
mainstream media here that promoted the event in our
Yeah,
area, and that's what
yeah,
made it such a success. These folks working
absolutely.
together to make that
Yes,
happen. So
Yes.
hang around definitely if you can, Miss Joyce. I know you're busy throughout the day, but man, we really appreciate you being there and bringing your energy to everything. And I look forward to you as our spokesperson going forward, which I have done for quite some time. And I'm sure you're gonna do a excellent job. So thank you
Thank
once
you.
again, Miss Joyce. And
Thank
just
you.
just just to let people know everything that New Order does. It's we don't just do one thing. We have folks who are passionate about education. So they keep
Yeah.
us up to date on what's going on in the world of education.
Yeah.
Just meeting your son yesterday, who has said he wants to
Yes.
be involved now because his passion is financial literacy and teaching
Yes.
young people definitely, how important it is to know how finances work.
Yes.
So there's never enough help. There's
That's right.
never like I believe there's one a verse related to how vast the work is, but the laborers are few.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we definitely
Mm-hmm.
need young people, especially those of you who have stories of Black history to tell.
Yes.
Think
Yes.
about it. Your story could be a book that one child could read to be motivated to be the best they could be. So think about
Absolutely.
that. And thank you
Absolutely.
once again, Miss Joyce. Hang around if you
Yeah.
can. We need to move
Yeah.
into some various things because also what New Orders do is we address and we speak truth to power. And one of those things that we are constantly fighting is police brutality and police misconduct. And that is
Yeah.
huge. We get various calls from around the United States. And once we vet those calls and get the facts, because we go on facts, not emotions, Mr. Rose usually will go to that area and hold a press conference to make the community aware of what's going
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
and what we need to be doing to change things. So often we get caught up in what the aftermath is,
Yes.
when actually if you really want to stop police from doing what they are doing, you got to be at those community meetings. You
Oh,
got to
yes.
send notes to your mayor because remember, your police chief is not elected.
Come
They're
on.
chosen by
That's
your
right.
mayor in most
That's right.
cities. Your sheriffs are elected. Send them letters as well when you see officers misbehaving. Are you aware of the number of legislation across the United States being proposed to go against all the work activists have done to get body cameras?
Huh.
And now you
Right.
have individuals proposing to make it illegal to record police officers in public. Wait a minute. They in public. What do they have to hide?
That's right.
They're in public, but they don't want you to record what they're doing to other citizens. Now,
Right.
if that isn't a red flag, what
Right.
is? You want to know why individuals can kill us and then only get 2 years?
Mm,
Because, first of all, there's an entire system set up to provide immunity. And then
mm-hmm,
when
mm-hmm.
immunity don't work, you have judges who use biased discretion.
Yeah.
So the problem is the judges
Oh,
that
yeah.
use their
Oh, yeah.
discretion to lighten the punishment on those police officers that murder you and violate your rights. So, who do you need to be sending letters to? What representatives do you need to be contacting? Most of your Secretary of State websites tell you exactly who that is. In Georgia, you can go to my voter page, for instance, and find out who represents your district and everything. They have budgets that you pay taxes for in every city and
Mm,
municipality to set up a website for you to go find out who running things in your city.
absolutely.
You could be up in arms about something that happened on the other side of the United States when something just happened in your backyard last night.
That's right.
And if
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
expose that, who do you think will? Or maybe like so many other things, it got swept under the rug, it got kept quiet, thus the continuation of the system of abuse and corruption. That's the way it happens. If you
Yes.
don't say nothing, why would you expect them to say anything?
Come on. That's the truth.
These police officers aren't all white that are doing these things.
Come on.
Now, we might not be able to legislate what color a police officer is, but we can definitely legislate acceptable and appropriate behavior. Go
Yeah.
talk to your police chiefs. Just ask them or send them a letter or an email, how easy that is to do with your phone.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on. Come on.
Easy. You can do it right now. Listen to this radio show. Email your police chief a question. Have you even spoken to your officers about killing unarmed citizens?
Come on.
Have you even had any policies or programs to change how they police the community? Is your police chief or sheriff even aware of the recommendations of the 21st Century Community Policing Project and police reform? Don't assume that these people are doing anything. Go find out. Then write about it, then publish it.
Yes.
Keep the conversation going. The museum,
Yeah.
keep the conversation going. Keep the knowledge going for it. Keep the truth
Yeah.
revealed to people. We want complete transparency. You need to know if the officer that just beat up your son last night has a history of doing this.
Right.
Personnel records need to be available for audit by organizations.
Exactly.
You got to get rid of the bad apples. You can't get better as an organization if you don't get rid of your bad apples.
That's correct.
Ask your police chief what new program since, let's give them 2 years. In the past 2 years, have you proposed to decrease police misconduct?
That's a good point.
Have you even do you have a policy or a program? If I stop one of your sheriffs or police officers and ask them about when the last time they had training on policing in an open carry state,
Come
you
on.
would
That's a
be
good point.
surprised.
That's a good point.
If you have a right to have a gun, guess what? You probably shouldn't just be shooting people just because you thought you seen a gun.
That's right.
There's a difference between thought you seen a weapon and had one pointed at you.
Come on.
Well, you definitely
That's
couldn't
right.
see a weapon pointed at you if you shot the brother in the back
Oh my God. That's
like
right.
you do, police. Or like how you barge into people's homes
Mm,
unannounced, no knock warrants, and injure little babies in the process.
mm, mm, mm,
Remember when you threw the grenade through
mm,
baby Boo Boo's window in his crib and almost blew his face off?
mm.
Do you remember these things? Do you remember storming in on Jamarian Robinson to this day and no one has been charged?
Mm, mm, mm.
Guess who handle all the charges in your area? Citizens district attorneys. Guess what? You get to vote for them.
Mm.
Put them on that distribution list for your emails. Why are you not charging this police officer for this? Don't even be shamed. That you can tell the truth.
Right.
You just can't lie.
That's right.
Lie is slander. Truth is not.
Come on. Come
If
on.
district attorneys have conflicts with presenting the truth, then maybe they shouldn't be district attorneys.
Absolutely.
I need you young brothers and sisters. Don't fall into traps. You don't graduated from law school, you getting experience and you working and you see inequities. Don't let them
Mm.
bully you and keep you from running for district attorney.
Come on. Come on.
We need young
That's right.
progressive minds, people who have
Yes,
not
we do.
already sold out to police misconduct and protecting these wicked people.
Exactly. That's the truth.
It don't get clean unless you clean it.
Come on.
It just won't unless you go through it. You know how the washing machine, you got to make sure that agitator shake up everything, beat all the dirt out them clothes, so to speak.
Come
That's what we
on.
have to
Come
do
on.
with law enforcement
Absolutely.
because they're not going to do it themselves. And don't fall for the okie doke. Go down to these community meetings. Go right on social media when you leave. Hey, I'm standing outside. Y'all need to be here because these people
Yeah.
are proposing how to put chains
Yeah.
back on you.
Come on. It's real.
And they're
It's
hoping you don't
real.
show up.
Come on.
Now, you may
That's
not be able
cool.
to, it used to be where they would hold all the meetings when people were at work. Guess what? Start organizations and start talking about that meeting in the evening when everybody else get off from work.
Come on.
Somebody go
For
sit
real.
there and live stream the
Yeah.
meeting to your neighbors and everybody else. And then y'all can talk
Yeah.
about what y'all gonna do about what these people are proposing to do to you.
Yes.
You have to understand that. It doesn't change if you don't get involved. We
That's
like to
true.
quote, the revolution will not be televised because the revolution has to change in your mind. We got a caller, Mr.
Absolutely.
Badger. How are you doing this afternoon? Badger?
Wow, y'all are awesome.
What do you have to add
You hear me?
today to what you've heard us talking about?
Uh, to be honest, hoping that some of the white people that are listening and things like that actually learn and start stepping up and doing things too.
And this is my white brother,
That's a
as I
good
used to
point.
tell him
That
before.
is
I
an
don't care what
excellent
color
point.
he is, he's still my brother because we on the same page and we go in the same
Yeah.
direction. So this
Yeah.
message is not just for black people. If y'all listening, white folks, y'all can call in too. Five zero eight
That's
nine two
right.
four 3521. I don't have a problem with righteous white folk. Now, you wicked
Right.
ones, be careful. Be very careful.
Yeah.
However, thank you for calling in, Badger. And what I love is let us know something that you've decided that you can do to change things.
Mhm.
You still there,
Man,
Badger?
that's one of the things I've been working on right now is bringing some knowledge to different groups and things like that about like what's really going on.
Right.
Mhm.
And
Because
shout
like
out to this brother. If
people,
folks
Yes.
don't know,
Thank you.
I want you, Badger, to talk about that
yeah.
more in detail because Badger, I've had the
Oh, more in
opportunity.
detail for what I do.
Yes, hold on for a second. I had the opportunity to listen to Badger's show. And how Badger does it is an awesome way as well. Online social gaming, right, Badger?
Yep.
And what he does is as they play the games, these reality virtual games online, they discuss things in certain
Wow.
communities. And Badger taking the initiative to discuss race relations and everything as a young white man. So tell them
Wow.
about your show for a brief moment and when you do it and how they can be a part of that discussion if they're interested, Badger.
Well, on my show, um, you know, I look at things a lot in a philosophical ideology. And we kind of and people that join me for video games and stuff, or just join me on my Twitch, which is on Twitch primarily under Uguna underscore Badger, UGUNA underscore Badger,
Mm-hmm.
BADGER. And we cover topics of like, why are we in such a racial mentality of classifications and terminologies? Why do white people care so much about the terminology of white supremacy, you know, versus how other communities or cultures use it? And a
Right.
lot of times, with my personal experiences, and and a lot of us talking on, on my show, as well as DKM Media and Morning Glow and here and things, is don't assume what someone means because we can be after the same goal, yet use different vocabulary words or different phrasing, even though they mean the same thing. So one of the big things I talk about is, are you assuming that they're talking about all people, or are they actually talking about the same people we have issues with? Because then it goes from a racial issue to it's just vocabulary usage and it's a misunderstanding. They're
Right.
actually mad
Yeah.
at the same people we're mad at. Well,
Yeah.
let's just group up and work together.
And so I think that people have to understand that's how we destroy racism.
Yes.
Okay, so one, we don't want. Why would you be scared of doing the right thing? Man up
Yeah,
and stand up. I ain't got no soft words for you. Don't be no sucker. Don't be afraid to tell the truth.
that's right.
If it's wrong, say it's wrong. If you see some wrong, make sure somebody else see it. Because these things won't stop until all of us get involved. All the
Correct.
right people, black or white people, have to be involved about doing the right thing. Now, if you can't do right or you don't like to do right, to hell with you.
Yeah,
You're the enemy.
okay. That's right.
You're the enemy.
That's correct.
You're the enemy. If you're still trying to figure out, well, that whole George Floyd thing really wasn't that bad, you're the enemy.
Mm.
If you always on the side of maybe they were right, maybe they were wrong, you're the enemy.
Mm.
It's clear.
It is
It's
clear.
clear. Hundreds and hundreds of years of evidence makes it very
Yes.
clear.
Come on now.
Stop pretending.
Absolutely.
If you want to be not liked and hated, keep pretending it don't exist. We see what's
Amen,
happening
bro.
now. We see these people acting out, and they'll attack you sitting down having lunch with your family
Yeah.
in a park,
Yeah.
in public. They'll have a
Yeah.
problem with you in grocery stores. Be ready,
Come
people. This
on.
ain't new. This ain't new.
Mm-mm.
This ain't new. You're seeing it on social media. The whole phenomenon with Karens and all of this and all of that. We need to do away with any notion that white people believe that they don't have to respect the law as it relates to black people.
Right.
It's not like your granddaddies and them had it. You will
Mm.
respect us, and we will be here. And we need all allies on the side of righteousness to get involved.
Yeah.
Don't come to me talking about you don't know. Well, maybe it's wrong, maybe it's right. In your heart, you know. And that's how I'm going to hold you
Mm.
accountable.
Yes.
Anybody can say, well, what side of the coin are you on? Are you on the right side or the wrong side? That's what we go on. That's what we want people to understand. We want to give you the truth. We want to deliver this to your communities, your children, and educate them on what is going to make this world better. Because the reason why we're here the way we are now is because some people did it wrong.
Come on here. That's the absolute truth.
Shout out to our researchers and people who look at these cases and provide information to Gerald to go to speak out on these issues. Shout out to Miss Berger and everybody who works with that law
Yes.
research team.
Yes.
Well, it's just not about the things that happened 400 years ago, because y'all just chased after a black FedEx driver and shot him and tried to shoot him. And then FedEx suspended this brother without pay because white folks was chasing him, trying to shoot him in their truck.
Lord.
Come on now. And then when we complained about it, now you decide to give this brother his back pay and everything. How could he be wrong doing his job on a route that he had been reporting to you?
Mm.
You people in those, we're going to let people know, don't let these diversity and inclusion directors and human resources fool you.
Right.
Find out what they're doing. What did they do? When you got a report, what did you do with it? Or did you just put it in a pile and not mention it to nobody and did nothing? Let me bring it even closer to home. When you women go and report that you've been sexually harassed, and nothing happens, and you reported it to human resources, these are the people that suspended the black man that was driving their truck, shot at by racist whites. Where's the justification? I mean, if you got some and you white, call in 508-924-3521.
Can I put something out there?
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
So for people that are listening, a lot of the things that he's talking about, for those of us that might not be able to relate to that, primarily us white folk, Think about how us low-class white people are treated, and look at it from a class point of view.
Mm.
How are we treated versus, somebody with money?
Mm.
And this is something that
As
Black people
far as
rarely
I'm concerned, there ain't
address.
much difference.
Right.
So you white folks that been hiding behind whatever, and you ain't got two nickels to rub together, ain't got no education, ain't got no health care. Don't let them
Mm.
pit you against us who have been
Right.
fighting for you and in your condition. People fought for resources. So I don't know what you've been told, but you've been lied to. You've been lied to this entire time.
Come on.
We're not against you.
Absolutely not.
Look at what we do. We fight for everybody. What
Isn't that
about
the
your mama and
truth?
them? Do your mama and them
Come
fight for
on.
everybody? Or they've been teaching you to hate Black folks this whole time?
Come on.
Think about it. That's how the Republican Party tricks you into voting for them, who are completely against certain programs that are needed in these communities. Tell me, we don't need no parties no more. Let's just call them A and B. If A had stuff for me and B didn't, who would you go with? Who would you go with? I would probably pick A. But if you hung up on the color of your skin and you believe them lies, you might put B and continue to lose.
Mm.
I
Mm.
want you to get educated too, because the more education you get and the happier you are with your life, that's less time you have bothering me and mine.
Amen.
So don't take your frustrations out on other people because your limited view of what
Mm.
everybody else may be going through. You have more in common, most likely,
Come on.
than you have apart.
That's right.
So this is why it's necessary and why we partner with everybody. Anybody can call New Order for help, whether it's a human
Mm.
rights organization or if you
Right.
human, you can call us. If you got
Absolutely.
a problem, you can call us of injustice, racism,
That's right.
bullying, you name it. 1-800-346-5138. We will try to find a way to help you if we can. And so we
I
work with
also
a lot of
posted
people.
links for the Apex Museum and y'all's website on both Twitch and Facebook.
Thank you so much, Badger.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Stop allowing people
Awesome.
to separate us on things we
Right.
have in common.
Exactly.
Poor white brother, you need health care just as much as all your Black brothers and sisters need health
Come
care.
on. That's right.
You need a job too, don't you? So why would you support anyone that wanted to disenfranchise someone?
Mm.
I don't care how much money all these rich people have. You still get to vote. Guess how many times the rich man get to vote? One time, two
Come
times.
on. Come on.
If all of you so poor went to the polls,
Yeah.
guess what? Your issues would be a
That's right.
priority. But as long as you allow others to chart the course for you, you'll fall into their trap if that's what they want for you.
Right.
Start organizations or join organizations that protect your rights, your freedom of speech. Not what somebody told you it was, but exactly what freedom of speech is. Educate yourself if you don't know. For instance, a lot of people still don't know the difference between low income housing and affordable housing. One is a discount for people with
Mm.
money, and the other one is for people who ain't got nowhere to stay
Mm.
and ain't got a whole lot of money. Know what these people are doing. First of all, you're paying their salaries.
That's correct.
You get to go and vote on how much people get paid, their budgets, and everything else. If you want to know what's going on in your community and where you'll be in 10 years, go pull up your city's probably 25-year plan.
Say it. Come on. Say
And
it.
if you live where a new shopping center at
Mm.
on that plan,
It's
guess
written.
who they're trying to move? You.
That's right.
It's no longer a situation where we can sit back and not help one another, especially the
Mhm.
good people, because the bad people will help one another.
Exactly.
They'll put millions of dollars behind helping one another,
Come on.
getting child molesters off, paying
That's
court
right.
costs for murderers, doing all sorts of things,
It's true.
using their money to get things in their favor.
That's right.
Be conscious of where you're spending your dollars and what they're being used
Mm.
for. When they want to
Yeah.
raise some more taxes, ask them what it's for. And then tell them no if you ain't gonna fix my street in front of my house and my
Come on.
neighborhood. No, not even 2 pennies.
That's right.
My
That's
street been
right.
broke for 30 years, and you keep coming with this, but my street never get fixed. That's because there's
Right.
not enough people on your street speaking out about what's going
Mm.
on your street. Start with your
Every
street.
single, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off,
Go right
lady.
ahead, Badger.
In every single county in the United States of America, everyone has access to look up where the money is going in your county. So you can find out real quick about the people that supposedly are representing us as a human race on their county websites. If I can literally just go straight to Upshur County where I live, and I can print out every single thing that they're financing for and what they're choosing not to finance for. So
And
this
so,
isn't nonsense that they're talking about. This is actual truth. The facts are out there. And if you don't believe us,
Mm.
look it up. Find out where the money in your county is going and find out why
Mm.
there's so many issues in the areas that you're living in.
when you hear government entities speaking about transparency,
Mm.
that's what that is. And people had to fight just to be able to have access to resources so you will know what's going on in your
Come
community.
on. Yes.
Some of y'all, especially with COVID and all these things, you don't even have to physically go to some meetings because great cities live stream their meetings.
That's right.
Great
That's right.
cities do. Good cities live stream their meetings. They don't try to have all these secret meetings where the public don't know anything about. Be aware if you got a place where everything is a secret meeting, they got something cooking for you,
That's the
and
truth.
that they don't want you to know. But just like our brother Badger was saying, if you go look, it's there. Use what's
It's
there
there.
to defeat the enemy.
Yes.
No, you don't need to create nothing or make nothing up or come up with some sob story. You don't need to go back 200, 300, 400 years to look for corruption. I'm pretty
Come
sure
on
by the
here.
close of business today, there'll be some new
My
BS.
God. Mm.
There'll
You're
be
right.
something
You're
brand
right.
new by close of
Wow.
business
You're right.
today that's going on, something just ridiculous that you wouldn't believe,
Mm.
something so corrupt that you couldn't
Yeah.
imagine. It's there, people. Stop turning a blind eye to it. Stop coming up with ways to argue and separate yourselves and
Mm.
use the excuse, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. Scared of
Mm.
what? Truth?
Come on.
People just talking. Which I remember it ain't like I'm gonna punch you in the face.
See.
It ain't
Come
like I'm gonna
on.
shoot you in your head. It
That's
ain't
right.
like I'm gonna hang you just on the allegation. Miss me with the scared. You're the descendants
Right.
of people of mobs who hung and killed my people.
Mm.
Stop playing
Come on.
scared.
That's right.
Stop playing scared. We have to fix this.
Yes, we do. We
We
do.
need you, especially our young white brothers and sisters who have peeled
Yeah.
back the layers of the lies and have committed themselves to doing everything they can to destroy this infrastructure that their wicked ancestors created. Yeah, I
Yeah.
said
Come
you was
on.
wicked.
And that's right. It is correct.
If you're about some of the things that have happened and continuing those things, you're wicked.
Yeah.
Give us a call if
Absolutely.
you want to dispute it. 508-924-3521. I have you as a guest on the show. But what we're about is about changing this concept that color is a good reason to disenfranchise people, to discriminate against them, to treat them unjustly, to say it's okay for police to kill them. That's what we're about. What side do you want to be on? White or black? It don't matter to me. What side are you on?
Yeah.
Because you are the people who we have to make sure never get in public office, never serve on the police force, never give you authority to be a judge. If you feel this way about people of a different color, you are not fit to govern them.
You are absolutely correct. That is correct. And it is time
Trust me,
now.
people. There's so many people that are so unfit. Darkness in high places.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wretched governors. Wretched presidents. People that will do anything to disenfranchise you, to keep you from voting. They'll try to take away all your early voting. They'll try to take away your drop boxes. They'll try to limit the time frame that you can vote. They'll move the polling place on you 2-3 hours before the election. Come on now. I'm not the only one that knows this. But I'm definitely one of the more outspoken against it. And I need you to be outspoken against it as well. Somebody should say that's not right.
That's right.
Shout out to all those folks in our organization that are doing this across the United States and are bringing these things to light. We have people that dedicate their time to helping people in various parts of our lives. Like I say, it ain't always police brutality.
And that's right.
Look at the mentoring programs to mentor those in transition. Shout out to the partnership that we have with the Georgia Works and members of New Order going down there to make sure that those people understand what it is that they can do to be better in the community, even through their great transition, to let them understand, here's the resources for you to move on to the next phase in your life. Support those that support programs like that.
Amen.
Programs that help and assist, not divide and destroy. So we want to make sure that we put out in front of you what New Order is doing, the vision of our CEO and founder, Mr. Gerald Rose, whom I serve at his pleasure, and taking on those things that he feel is very important. And lots of people will testify to you. He's been doing it for a very long time, and he ain't scared of nothing. And he ain't scared of nobody.
Amen.
And so we have to make sure that we instill that type of courage in you and to help you develop leadership skills. If you need public speaking skills or whatever you need, get in touch with us, 1-800-346-5138. Shout out to Brother Raheem Ashame, once again, who lets us have this hour between 11 and 12 p.m. Eastern on DKMMediagroup.com. If you are interested in starting your own show, you can get in touch with that brother at www.dkmmediagroup.com. Get your word out. Use these platforms, like my brother Badger uses his video game platform to talk about how we can be better people.
That's amazing.
I'm very happy about that. That's an awesome thing for him to do. I need young people to be sitting around in schools on your lunch break talking about how we gonna be better people. Hey, if our school not feeding us good food or bad food, guess what? We deserve better, because you do. Too many people have died for you to have these resources. For feeding students and making sure those students are being treated like human beings when they go into school. And ain't nobody trying to cut their hair off and tell them they can't wear their braids and these types of things.
Right.
Don't just look at the police. Look at other areas of leadership that you might not think racism was still there. K through 12 education. Yeah, in your schools. It's all over. That's why they don't want you to learn critical race theory. That's another show. I'd like to thank everybody for listening. Thank you for calling. We hope that you join us again. next third Monday between 11 and 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Real Talk with New Order. Miss Joyce is glad to have you. Put us on your
Yes,
calendar because I definitely know you
definitely,
have plenty to say on a lot of
definitely.
issues, and I love to hear you speak about them. So, congratulations on becoming our new spokesperson, and that's what we want you to
Thank
do. We want you
you.
to speak about it.
Yes.
Advocate for change in your area. Thank everybody for joining, and y'all have a wonderful day. And remember,
You as well,
it's not I, but we.
but we.
Peace.
Amen. Peace.